Today's video will be a demonstration of the VerifyiQ software. Now this is designed to be a high-level overview of the software, showing you how to add a client, how to add a user, how to start, run, and complete a review. This demonstration will not be detailed enough to teach you some of the nuances of the VerifyiQ software. Therefore, I want to make you aware of our YouTube channel. And on this YouTube channel, it has very specific and detailed videos about how to use the software, like how do you set up user types, how do you fix connections with Xero, how do you fix connections with QuickBooks, how do you add a fake bookkeeper if only one person is using the software versus the traditional 2 people. So the videos here on our YouTube channel are very detailed, so if you have any specific or nuanced questions about the software, this is a great place to look. But today we're just going to do an overview of the software. So we'll close YouTube, we'll jump back into VerifyiQ, and the first thing I want to show you is how to add a client. So here on the main page, we have 2 tabs. First is Clients, second is Manager and Users. So if you're on the Client tab, go to the far right and click on the green Add New Client button. Then add the client name, and we're just going to put Demo, and how about Demo 100? And we're going to input a client code. The client code is it's useful if you're going to use the API integration that we have in order to push data to Salesforce, to Airtable, to any software that your firm might be using in order to manage your clients. So if you are going to use the API, please put in a client code. Description is not required, but if you want to add a description regarding this client, you can certainly do so. So after adding the client name and the client code, please click the green Save button. And then, here's the client we just added. Click on it, and then either connect it to QuickBooks Online or Xero. So that's how to add a client. Now let's go back and I will show you how to add a user. So here's all of my users. So on the second tab, Manager and Associates, again, far right green button, Invite Team Member. And you just need to add their full name, first and last, their employee code. Again, this is for the API integration, so if you're going to be pushing the completed review data into another software, please add the employee code. Then you'll add their email, so the user will receive an invitation. And then you're going to select the user type, either manager, associate, or admin. There's generally only one admin, and that's the person that signs up for the VerifyiQ software. And then you will have a combination of manager and associate users for everybody else. And then if you know which client or number of clients that the new user will be working upon, you can assign them here as you are adding the new user. So once you filled out this information, just click Save, the green button, and then the new user will be added. Okay, so that's how to add a client on the first tab, and then how to add a user on the second tab. So let's go back and find our demo client. And today let's do Xero. So I'm going to click on the client name here. And then we're going to select the dates for the review. Click OK. Select the end date for the review. Click OK. And then since I am running this review by myself, I'm not working with a bookkeeper, I have created what we call a fake bookkeeper because, again, 2 people are required for the review process. The bookkeeper will start the review, make all their changes, and then send the review to the reviewer. That would be me right here. And I will complete the review. So we've selected the dates, the personnel working on the review, and then we will click on Start File Review. Now, if you're reviewing a month, the software is very quick. If you're reviewing 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, The more data you review, the more time will be needed for the software to review the transactions. Here in this example, we're doing a 3-month time period, and you can see it only took just a few seconds to run the review. Now that the review is ready, there's 2 ways to perform a review. First is by using the circles at the top with the scores in them. So if you just want to go directly to whatever the software is deemed as needs attention, you can click on the circle and it will take you directly to all of these items. Same for the incorrect. Just click on the circle and it will take you to everything that the software has deemed incorrect. Or if you have a positive outlook and you want to look at everything that's correct first, just click on that circle. Now, one of the things that the software can do is it can export these items using the export function right here. So if you're using a different software for your workflows, a Carbon, a Teamwork, you can export these into a CSV file. And I'll just go ahead and click on it. And then you can import this information into Carbon or Teamwork or whatever software you're using that has a CSV import function. But most of our clients are using the review process directly within VerifyiQ, and they're not exporting it. But this was a feature request from some firms, so we went ahead and added it. So that's the first way, is by using the circles. The second way to perform the review is directly here on the main page using the different tabs. Now, the first tab here is a new feature, a recent addition to VerifyiQ, and that's because our clients asked to know the transaction volume within their clients' accounting files. So under bookkeeping information, we have added a list of bank and credit card accounts and the corresponding number of transactions, customer invoices, customer deposits, customer payments, vendor bills, and the corresponding number of transactions. Apparently, a lot of our clients like to price their services based upon transaction volume, and that was the reason for this request. And then our other clients like to price their services based upon sales, total sales, or total expenses. So on the dashboard down here below, under financial information, we have a summary of the income statement for the period being reviewed, and then the last 12 months. So either way you're pricing your services, either by transaction volume, gross sales, gross expenses, this is an easy way for your bookkeeping team, for your management team, to make sure that the client services are priced correctly every month. Now, diving into the review, next tab is the reconciliation tab. Now, based upon the test rules, which we'll get to in a few minutes, these are all the things that the software has noticed during the reconciliation process. And the software, the VerifyiQ software, is designed to be used in conjunction with the accounting software. Now, what I mean by that is we recommend using 2 screens. On one screen having VerifyiQ up, and on the other screen having the accounting software up. And that's because there is not a direct connection between VerifyiQ and the accounting software. So if you change something within VerifyiQ, it will not be updated in the accounting software. That's why we recommend 2 screens, because if VerifyiQ identifies something that needs to be changed, you'll have to change it in the accounting software and then come back and rescan, green button right here, and that will update the scores based upon the changes that you just made within the accounting software. So I just want to mention that because it's a key component. It's a security feature, a safety feature that we don't want the ability to be able to update transactions using VerifyiQ in the accounting software. So please have the accounting software up on a second screen, make any changes there, based upon the review results, and then rescan after you've made the changes in the accounting software to get the new scores. In the off chance that VerifyiQ has identified something as incorrect, but it's really correct, you can make that change within VerifyiQ. So let's see, this one, the MasterCard, with the red X beside it that's incorrect. If this really is correct, just click the box and then change it to correct. And then it will update the scores here. Now, the general ledger is based upon your capitalization policy. Again, you can update that within the test rules. And it's looking through these accounts for transactions that are greater than your capitalization policy. So in the example today, the capitalization policy is probably 1,000, maybe 2,500. And the software noticed an office expense transaction for $8,000. This is greater than your capitalization policy, so it's going to bring it to your attention for you to confirm whether or not that this transaction has been coded correctly as an office expense. Now, if it was coded incorrectly and it should be capitalized, again, go into your accounting software on the second screen, make any changes to move the transaction to the correct account, and then click the green rescan button to update the score. But if this transaction should be expensed, just click the box here, change it to correct, and then the score will update. Income statement, test rules, again, we'll get to those in a minute, but it's mainly looking for, say, negative balances. It's looking for any items in clearing accounts, suspense accounts, things of that nature. Transactions that shouldn't be in there, that should be cleared out before the financial statements are finalized. So if the software has, identified anything, it will have either the yellow triangle or the red X circle beside it. If it's green, it should be good. So just scroll down the list here looking for any of those items. Doesn't look like any were identified in this one. So we'll go to the balance sheet. Again, looking for the yellow triangles and the red X's. Here we got one. Uncategorized assets. So again, test rules, which we'll get to in a minute. Uncategorized assets along with suspense and clearing account should be 0. Since this one is not 0, it has deemed it as incorrect. You'll have to jump to your second screen, go over to the accounting software, and then reclassify this uncategorized asset to the correct account, and then rescan it to get your correct score. Now, accounts receivable and accounts payable are date-driven in the test rules. So you can set it to where any customer invoice or any vendor bill greater than 30 days is classified as needs attention. And any customer invoice and any vendor bill greater than 60 days is incorrect. Therefore, your bookkeeper is looking at the AR and AP to make sure it's current, payments have been applied properly, that they didn't just code the customer deposit to income and forget to apply it to the outstanding invoice. So again, AR and AP is date driven. Now, the income statement comparison and balance sheet comparison tabs are currently a visual scan. So when you get to this tab, you will just come down here, scroll through, and visually check for anything that's missing. Office expenses, we had no expense for April, big expense in May, and a smaller expense in June. So you might want to dig in. It's kind of unusual not to have any office expenses for a month. So that'd be a good way to use this screen. Now, as a reminder, if you're running the review for 1 month only, the comparison tabs won't populate with anything but that 1 month that you ran the review for. Again, we're doing a 3-month period for this demonstration. That's why there's 3 months worth of data on the comparison tabs. So, just remember, if you're running the review only for 1 month, these comparison tabs will show the same income statement and balance sheet that you saw over on these tabs. So if you want to use the comparison tabs, you have to run the review for more than 1 month. Now, the last tab is the checklist. The checklist The way our clients are using it, it's a reminder system for their team. Now, you could do this in your workforce management software, your Carbon, your Teamwork, your whatever you're using for your checklists. But sometimes they like to include specific information regarding the client within the review. And these items repeat every month. So if you want the bookkeeper to, confirm that the undeposited funds account has a zero balance every month, you can put that in here for the bookkeeper to do. And once the bookkeeper's completed it, she'll just check the box here, change it to correct, and the score will update to let you know that this has been completed. If you need to add an item, just click down here, add item, and you can add something. Add item for demo. And these items on the checklist will repeat every month. So next month, the bookkeeper will know what additional things need to be done and then can check them off as they complete them. Another thing I would like to mention is that the VerifyiQ software is designed to be conversational between team members. So up here, we have two types of comments. We have summary comments, and I look at summary comments as overall comments regarding the review. So maybe the bookkeeper noticed that sales is down 25% this month and wants to bring that to the controller, the manager's attention. They would use the summary comments and let them know. But if the bookkeeper wants to get more granular, or the manager, these comments are available for both team members. But if they want to get more granular, the query comments correspond to the tabs. So you'll see reconciliation, reconciliation, general ledger, general ledger. So if the bookkeeper wants to let the manager know that, maybe Amex statements not received. Oops, microphone's in the way, can't type. Okay, Amex statements not received. Please request from client. The bookkeeper can leave a note, and then when the review is sent to the manager, reviewer, controller, whatever you call the reviewer position, they will be able to see these comments. So VerifyiQ, again, is designed to be conversational between team members so we can have a conversation about the review, about the state of the client's books, what's going on with the client, and you do that through the summary comments or the query comments. Now, say the bookkeeper or the manager wants to go back and look at last month's comments. They can do that within the review by clicking on the review history, and it will take them to a list of all the reviews that have been performed for this client. Let's go ahead and click on it. So, review history. So you can see here's all the reviews that have been performed for this client. Obviously, I've done a lot of demos. But if you jump into one of these, you'll be able to see the summary comments and the query comments from previous reviews. And it'll help them remember what they were talking about 1 month ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. So let's go back to the current review. And we do that by clicking here at the top and searching for our client. And we'll jump back into the current month. Okay. So we've gone over the circles, being the quick way to do the review. And then we've gone over the tabs, being it's the longer way to do the review. It's definitely more detailed than using the circles. It all depends upon what your preference is. And again, the dashboard for pricing updates. Now, the test rules, let's jump into those. So here are the test rules. Again, the test rules match the tabs. So we got a reconciliation test rule, general ledger test rule, income statement, balance sheet, AR and AP. So test rules match the tabs. Now, the way the test rules work is it's looking for anything that's not reconciled, that's more than 5 days old, it's going to mark it as a warning. And It's also looking for anything not reconciled more than 30 days old. It's going to mark it as an error. Now, sometimes clients want to exclude accounts from the reconciliation test rules. A good example I use of that is the Bill.com clearing account. I know some bookkeeping firms do not require their bookkeepers to reconcile the Bill.com clearing account, and that's because, well, there's not a statement for the bookkeeper to reconcile to. So if you fall into that camp and you're getting a lot of false error messages because the Bill.com clearing account's not being reconciled, you can come down here to the drop down, and this is a straight pull from the chart of accounts coming from the accounting software. And then you can select the account you want to exclude, and then the reconciliation test rules no longer apply to that account. General ledger is next. And again, it's your capitalization policy. So the software is looking through accounts that have these account names. So repair, maintenance, office, admin, supplies, tools, general. And it's looking for any transaction greater than this amount. And will throw off an error or a warning message if it finds transactions greater than that amount. So if you want to change it to $1,000, you can certainly do so. 5,000, whatever your capitalization policy is, you can specify that here. Going on down to the income statement. Again, keywords, ask, clearing, suspense, miscellaneous, uncategorized. The software is making sure that the balance in these accounts are zero. It's also making sure that all balances are positive except for net income. But again, the software is smart enough to know that there could be a negative balance. You know, generally it's in e-commerce clients, a discount account, a rebate account, then that account can have a negative balance. Now, in the off chance that you are getting some false error messages, the drop-down box here is a straight pull of the chart of accounts for the income statement, and you can exclude any account that you need to from the test rules. Balance sheet, same thing. Also keywords, ask, clearing, suspense, miscellaneous, uncategorized, undeposited. It's making sure the balance is zero. But the software, again, is smart enough to know that depreciation and amortization can have a negative balance, and that all of the balances should be positive. A thing to note is you have to spell depreciation and amortization correctly to make this work. If you don't use one of these spellings, then the software doesn't recognize it as being a depreciation or amortization account, and you might get some false error messages. So you may have to go into the chart of accounts in your accounting software and then correct the spelling to make this work properly. But again, in the off chance that you are receiving false error messages, the drop down here is a straight pull of the chart of accounts on your balance sheet, and you can exclude any ones that you need to. Next up is accounts receivable, accounts payable. Again, it's based upon days. So if you need to change the days for a warning, you can do that here. And if you want to change the days for an error, you can do that here. And before you leave this page, I just want to mention, please remember to click Save at the top. If you don't, the updated test rules won't be saved, and you'll have to come back in here, do it again, and save the test rules so they will be applied to this client. So we'll go ahead and rescan based upon the revised test rules. Probably won't change the score. I didn't raise the capitalization general ledger that much. Nope, about the same. Okay. And again, the process, overall, the review is started by the bookkeeper and it's finished by the manager. So we've been looking at this from the bookkeeper's perspective. So let me go show you the manager's perspective real quick. So once the bookkeeper is done, they've made any updates and changes in the accounting software. They've rescanned to get the correct score or a higher score, hopefully. They will submit the review to the manager. And they do that right up here in the top right, submit to reviewer. Now, when this happens, the reviewer will be notified by email. Within that email will also include, the client name and the review score. So if it's crunch time, end of the month, everybody's trying to get the financials done and sent to the clients, the manager can look at all the emails that are coming in notifying that reviews are ready for them and pick out those with the worst score and look at those first. So let's see, client page, we're looking at demo. Okay, so it's been submitted to reviewer and the manager or reviewer's view is the same. We still have the three circles at the top, which they can use to go through a review quickly. If they want to go through the review more in depth, they can use the tabs. Again, both the bookkeeper and the manager, the reviewer, should have two screens, VerifyiQ on one, accounting software on the other. The reviewer can also see the comments left by the bookkeeper, and they can respond. So please request from client. Yes, will request at tomorrow's meeting. Oops. There we go. And they can respond. Okay. So, and it's the same overall process. The manager will go through here, look at the items identified as incorrect, look over at the accounting software on the other screen, confirm that they're incorrect and need to be changed, and therefore after changing, rescan to get a new score. Or they'll say, this is really a false positive and these items are correct. So they'll click the box and then change it to correct. Score will be updated. So let's see. So sometimes, off chance, it might happen that the manager will need to send the review back to the bookkeeper. They've wrote a War and Peace over here in the comments, and the bookkeeper needs to make a lot of updates. They can do that here, top right middle, send back. If the reviewer clicks that button, the review will be sent back to the bookkeeper. They will be notified that that the review has been sent back and that additional work is needed. Based upon both users' notification preferences, which are up here. Forgive me, the company settings are not available for associate and manager users. Company settings are only available for admin users. And let me just go over that real quick. Admin users manage the subscription. They'll access that here. Admin users control whether or not their firm uses two-factor authentication, meaning the admin can turn it on for the whole firm or turn it off. And the admin has access to the API integrations. What everybody else will see are their personal settings. So their notification preferences, change password, they can update their two-factor authentication. So depending upon the user's notification preferences, not only will they be notified that the review has been sent back, but they will also be notified that review comments have been left, and they can elect to receive a notification for each review comment, which, if the reviewer is writing War and Peace, may get a little annoying, but the users can manage their notification preferences right here. Now, if the reviewer does send it back to the bookkeeper, again, the bookkeeper will log in, make any changes, rescan, get the new score. They'll click the Send Back to Reviewer button, and then the reviewer, again, will be here at this screen, making sure that their comments have been addressed right here, and making sure that the score is at an acceptable level before completing the review. Now, it's important for the manager, for the reviewer, to remember to complete the review, because if it's not completed, the bookkeeper will not be able to run the review next month. There can only be one review open at a time. So be sure to remind your managers to complete the reviews every month. That way the bookkeeper can start a new one next month. So let's see. We've gone over how to add a client. We've gone over how to add a user. We've gone over using the circles, the quick method. And we've gone over performing the review using the individual tabs. We've gone over the review history, the test rules, the summary comments, the query comments, sending the review back and forth between the bookkeeper and the reviewer, and completing the review. Overall, I think that is a very good high-level demonstration of how VerifyiQ works. Again, if you need more information, I highly recommend our YouTube channel, because I have made a series of very detailed videos about how to do very specific tasks within VerifyiQ. I know a lot of firms are using VerifyiQ to great success to scale their QA practices, and I hope it will be useful to you too. Thank you. I'm DMac from VerifyiQ.